Hi there, and welcome to the Red Sea podcast. I am Statman Stubbs, and this is another episode of A Rival's Point of View. We're going to be previewing this weekend's game, Brentford versus Liverpool. We're going to go through the head-to-head records, danger men for Brentford, thoughts on the season so far, also where Brentford may finish come May, where you think they may finish May. Where you think Liverpool will finish in May, thoughts on the two managers, and then a prediction as always to finish. Before we get into that and before I introduce my guests, let's roll with the intro.
Tell the world we are Liverpool, champions of England.
We've conquered all of Europe. We're never gonna stop. From Palestine to Turkey, we've won the fucking lot. By Paisley and the Shankly, the fields of Anfield gold. We are unsupported, and we come from Liverpool.
Hi there, everyone, and like I say, it's Thursday evening, 8 o'clock, Rivals Point of View. Obviously, we are previewing Brentford's game against the Mighty Reds on Saturday evening. First of all, I've got Jack. How are you, mate?
Thank you very much for having me on, Steve. I do appreciate it. And hopefully everyone in chat's lovely to meet Nick as well. And hopefully we've got a cracking game at the weekend, mate.
Yeah, exactly. And Nick, again, thanks for coming on. I know it was a bit of a late notice, but appreciate you coming on. How are you doing?
Yeah, all good things. Can't wait for Liverpool's game against the Mighty Reds. Bring it on.
Good. So we're just going to go straight into it with the head-to-head record. I know we just briefly said there, haven't played many games. Last game was actually 17th of May, 1947, which actually finished 1-1 at Anfield. It's the first meeting in the Premier League. And there's not been many games at all. Liverpool at Brentford have won 3 times. Brentford have won twice. And there's been 1 draw. At Anfield, Liverpool have won 6 games. Brentford have won 1, and there's been 2 draws. So as you can see, not many games in it. But Nick, first of all, were you aware of the head-to-head records? Obviously non-existent, I know, but what's your take on that so far on that?
Yeah, from the history books. I mean, look, to be fair, we've played you guys in the Cup a couple of times in the 80s. And I think for all Brentford fans, 88, 89 in the FA Cup, we got to the quarterfinals, drew yourselves, which is the most amazing thing for then third-tier club against Liverpool, who were undoubtedly the best team in England, if not Europe at the time. You know, the back end of that team, it was just phenomenal, and it was 15 minutes backs to the wall action until Steve McMahon eventually scored. And then it was kind of game over from there.
Yeah,
but we gave it a cracking shot. It was really, really good fun. Amazing day for us. Full house at Anfield. You know, one of the most incredible things of my younger life. And
yeah,
it sort of sets the tone for what's to come, and certainly gives you that taste of God, if only.
Yeah.
And it's been another, as I say, close to 40 years, or certainly 30 years until we've got here now. But now we are. So, yeah, record's been a little bit thin, he says politely.
Yeah.
But long may that change going forward.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hopefully so. Yeah, it'd be nice to keep on meeting you every season, twice a season, or obviously maybe cup competitions as well. But Jack, again, head-to-head records. We haven't played many games, as you can see. Were you aware of that first of all, and what's your take on that? What obviously me reading through the head-to-head there.
Yeah, well, it's alluded to obviously the massive time out of the league, but it's refreshing to see Brentford in after a couple of tries in the Championship. It breathes a lot of new faces into the Premier League. Obviously, the fans as well was phenomenal to see. It was the first Premier League game on Sky against Arsenal, and they absolutely battered them, and it was great to see. Thomas Frank, similar to Klopp, he likes to get the fans up and ready for the game, but I really do like watching Brentford from a neutral point of view, because they play football the right way, and given the results which we'll speak about tonight, you've took to the Premier League like a duck to water, really.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't have put it better myself. What I was going to say as well, out of the 3 teams so far, Brentford are definitely looking more than capable of staying in the division. So, obviously, I'm sure you're pleased, first of all, Nick, that you're back in the Premier League, doing well so far, so good. That just brings me on to the next thing that I wanted to talk about was the danger men for Brentford, sorry. Having a right nightmare. Brentford, sorry. Obviously, you being a Brentford fan, you'll know firsthand. So I'll leave it to you, Nick. Who's your danger men going into this game?
Yeah, I mean, look, you don't need to have even half an interest in football to know who the main man is. Ivan Toney. He's got all the goals up in the Championship. He did it in League One with Peterborough, came to Brentford, hit the ground running, and was just next level in an already fantastic team. And we're now 5 games in, and he started doing it again. He scored up at Villa, scored up at Wolves, did the assist at Wolves, had 2 more chalked off for VAR.
Yeah.
The man's immense. He's got so much natural talent, but he's also, it's not just the goals, it's the approach play, it's the work, it's the tracking back. I mean, the energy levels he's got, I'm knackered just getting up to a seat in the stands. He's, he covers every proverbial blade of grass. He's as comfortable going back as he is going forward. He's a phenomenal talent, and we've been blessed in recent years with what our directors of football and what our system has unearthed. But Ivan is, he's certainly pick of the bunch in recent times, and of the current team, he's the one that you've got to pay attention to, no question.
Yeah, no, exactly. Anyone else that comes to mind other than Ivan Toney?
Yeah, and then look, I mean, for me, he's a bit of a favourite in our house as well. But the old Liverpool boy, and I say boy, he still is, Sergi Canos. Yeah. He's been with us for what seems like an eternity, and he's only in his early 20s still. But, we had him on loan. He burst onto the scene, got the most amazing goal up at Reading, and he was the next big thing. And then went back to Liverpool. Norwich bought him, and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
And we just kind of sneaked on the blind side, bought him back, and he's been immense. And you were saying earlier about Klopp and about Thomas Frank. Well, Sergi's the same. It's not just the ability going forward. And he's playing a more of a wing-back role at the moment than an out-and-out attacker, or winger, I should say. But it's just the enthusiasm, and he galvanizes the team, and the smile on the face, and he gets the crowd going.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, he had a bit of a hard time last year. He was coming back from a horrific injury. He had a lot of the what's the polite word? More volatile supporters on his back.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't the player he was, but he's just worked at it, fought back, proved them wrong. And for him to get our first ever Premier League goal against Arsenal, it was icing on the cake. It was perfect.
Yeah.
So for me, Ivan, Sergi, at the back, Ethan Pinnock, centre back, immense. But we'll get up to formations in a bit, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But for me, they're probably the big 3 of our team.
Okay. Jack, anything you want to add onto that? I mean, obviously, if you watch Brentford play,
watch the Arsenal game. Absolutely dominated them. It's not an hard thing to do these days. But but a massive game. They play quality. Obviously, the Wolves game seen them a match of the day as well. You see certain clubs, and especially, as I said, it's refreshing to see Brentford in the league. And obviously the yo-yo teams that you've seen in recent years. But it's refreshing to see a club like Sheffield United, when they come to the league, actually give it a go. It's been 70 odd years since he's been in the top flight, and obviously Thomas Frank, the way in which he approaches his philosophy as a manager as well, and giving players a chance, an opportunity to shine. And Ajer, obviously, was a young lad was he at Celtic as well. He's adapted quite well. So Pontus Jansson used to be at Leeds as well. So and which we'll discuss about probably later as well. But the approach in which, as Nick's alluded to, the hierarchy at Brentford, they're very switched on in terms of the recruitment process. And I think that'll play a massive part if Brentford are to stay in the Premier League, not just this season, but in the next couple of years as well.
Yeah, exactly. No, you made some good points there, Jack. And I think one person for me that stands out, not only along with the people that you've mentioned so far, is Bryan Mbeumo. I think he looks a really decent player. He's got pace, power, and the link up really well between Toney and Mbeumo. Obviously, them two normally play up front, but just leads us nicely into the next thing I wanted to mention. And again, Nick, I'll come to you, obviously, with you being a Brentford fan. What formation do Brentford normally play? If you just obviously give our viewers a insight of what formation Brentford play, please.
Yeah, so we actually switched at the back end of last season. It carried it on to a 3 centre-back formation. So you've got Pontus, you've got Pinnacle, I mentioned, and IJ, who you've said as well, Jack. Then the 2 wing-backs either side, Tariq Henry on the left and Sergi on the right. Ivan will sit up top. You've got Brian just alongside him, and 3 midfielders. Who they'll be tomorrow, who knows, or Saturday, I should say.
Yeah.
But that's the general formation. You've got the 3 centre-backs, slightly holding midfielder, attacking, and a wider.
Yeah, okay. No problem. I'm just going to obviously get your opinion as well, Nick. Obviously, we're both Liverpool fans, me and Jack. Who would you see Liverpool's danger men being? Are you going to go with the obvious or
all of them?
All of them.
I mean, no offence. Look, you've won the Champions League, you've won the Premier League. The team's largely unchanged, except added to. You've seen Van Dijk come back after the injury last season. And it's just next level again. I'm frankly terrified looking at who you got. It's just nuts. I'm not. We're competing on a level playing field now in terms of we're both Premier League sides, and that's brilliant. But there are certain clubs and certain squads you look at, and not just that, but certain mentalities, and you've got the lot. I don't want to go all schoolgirl and it's our big day out, because it's not. And the second you get into that mindset, then you're already lost. But by the same virtue, you can't help but look just with admiration at everything that Klopp has built and some of the nonsense he's taken, and how that team has held together and stuck together and just grown on itself. So who's your danger man? Well, it's the entire team. It's the fan base as well. Playing in a stadium with supporters, it is immense and it's massive. And we felt that when we had the playoff semi against Bournemouth, there were 4,000 people there at Lionel Road, which when you see it on Saturday, just shy of a quarter full. And it was noise unlike any I've ever heard before. And look, we all know about the Kop being the 12th man and Liverpool supporters and blah, blah, blah. But actually, having away fans present, and Oldham made more noise than Arsenal, if we're being honest, during the week in the cup. And Arsenal were just pointless. Jeez, why do they exist? It's just, oh, God. But, that's another conversation for another day. But look, Liverpool love their football. The fans will give it their absolute all. You know that. So it's not just the 11 men and terror from the bench that awaits us. It's going to be that other 2,000 fans in the corner. And I'm not going to say that's scary. It's brilliant. I want atmosphere. I want noise. I want a proper. Let's go for it and give it hammer and tongs, not just on the pitch, but at each other in the nicest sense. Because that's just going to spark us up. It's going to spark you up, and it's going to be an immense occasion. I cannot wait for it.
Exactly. And just before, obviously, I come back to you, Nick, because I just want to get a Liverpool's point of view on the season so far with regards to Brentford. So, Jack, I know we've touched upon it briefly, but have you been impressed so far with Brentford?
Yeah, I was speaking on the previous stream I've done there, mate. They've eventually got through promotion, but it's great, as I said, to see them in the Premier League. But everyone was surprised when they beat Arsenal. I wasn't. No. And it's so disrespectful to sides that are coming up from the Premier League. As I said, they play football the right way, and we joke about Arsenal, but even the Wolves game dominated. I know Wolves can't finish the Christmas dinner, but it's a massive to go away to Wolves, and obviously the Brighton defeat, but it's Brighton pulling up trees this season, and obviously a draw away to Aston Villa. It's not an easy place to go to Villa Park anyway, but I'd say it was above and beyond expectations for me as a neutral watching Brentford, but if you just watched them last season and the previous season, to Frank, he's had them playing like that for a very long time, and hopefully to continue that upward trajectory really, and continue to pick up points, because look in the Premier League and there's so many more worse teams. Don't just credit to Brentford, but that deserve to go down. Obviously, Burnley and other clubs as well. But even Everton, triggered all Everton families. But sorry, wind them up. I've had a good weekend watching them and United get knocked out in the cup. But yeah, fantastic, mate. And long may that continue, mate. Because it's refreshing to watch a game of football as a neutral and just, as you mentioned, similar characteristics. And Nick's alluded to the fans. This is why you play. You're a fan of football. Just see your teams go head to head, and especially given it's like 70 odd years. But fantastic, mate. Long may it continue. And good luck to Brentford.
Exactly. And just before I come back to you, Nick, obviously anyone in the chat, I know there is a few in the chat. Please put some comments in the chat as well, and also please make sure you do like and subscribe to the channel. It would be appreciated. We are going to keep on bringing this brilliant content to every Thursday night, as well as other things which I'll go to in the end of what's coming up on the channel as well. But Nick, I'll come back to you. Obviously, I'm sure there's only going to be one answer, but so far so good for Brentford. Are you loving being back in the Premier League and loving the exciting football that Thomas Frank and your side are playing?
Yeah, it's immense. I mean, I've used that word already, but it is. And where do you start? And long may it continue. To beat Arsenal, and I know we all joke about them being former glories and stuff, but it was just a perfect first match for us, and the noise and the passion were phenomenal. We went to Crystal Palace the next weekend, and it was my little lad's first ever away. Well, I say first ever, first proper away game. Yeah, and he went nuts. He loved it, and there was probably a good 2,000 or 3,000 of us there for that. Yeah. Same at Villa. Just the atmospheres that are coming and the way the team are playing. And okay, we lost to Brighton. I'll be honest. For me, it felt classic smash and grab. And if anything, it was a real wake-up call to us that if you don't take your chances, because we dominated the first half, but couldn't do it. And that they were very solid. They played to the letter of the law and a little bit beyond. And that was a bit of an eye-opener for us. But then we did exactly the same thing to Wolves the following weekend. Players going down like a sack of spuds, goalies changing his gloves, clock being run down. You learn fast. But we also played really, really well first half, predominantly. To have 8 points from the first 5 games, well happy. Yeah. And now the real tests begin, because we've got yourselves, we've got Chelsea in the next home game, West Ham away in between, Burnley away, Leicester at home. Things are certainly cranking up.
Yeah, it's obviously, like I say, it's refreshing having you guys back in obviously the Premier League first of all, but obviously it's a bonus for you guys when you having to play the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea. Like you said, it's obviously a massive step up, and like you've said, it's you don't take your chances in this league, you do get punished. But overall, 8 points from 5 games is a fantastic achievement. And like Jack said as well, going away to Villa Park, no easy feat to get in a draw there. Draw Selhurst Park as well. So I hope you do well. I mean, I'm gonna have to admit, humble pie, take a bit here, but I don't know me Premier League table predictions, and I think I had Brentford to finish 18th. So obviously it looks. I know there's only been 5 games in, but I don't think you're going to be anywhere near that. I think maybe 13th or 14th would be respectable. Would you say for yourselves?
Yeah, I mean the smart money's on 14th. Personally, I'm always over optimistic, and I'm calling 10th. Right. Quite frankly, the survival's good. Staying in it. And every club has a wobble, and every club has a bad run, and we've done it in the Championship pretty much every season. We either start badly, pick up, have another wobble, but it's going to come. And I think when it does come, it's probably going to be more dramatic just because of who we're up against. We've got the 2 Manchester clubs back to back in December. That on paper, that could be a brutal week. Yeah. But equally, the romantic side of me thinks it could be the most amazing week ever. You just don't know, and that's what makes football so great. I mean, even the game this weekend, when I checked the other day, we were 6-1 for a home side to win the match. I was talking to my dad tonight, and he was like, "What are you, 8, 9?" So no, only 6, but it's still on paper so lopsided.
Yeah.
Yet you just never know. Nobody gave us a chance against Arsenal.
Yeah, true.
Look what happened.
Fantastic.
It's certainly going to be a much, much sterner test.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. And that brings us on nicely to the next thing I wanted to discuss. I'll come to Jack first of all, obviously just to get an unbiased sort of view. So where do you think Brentford will finish in May, Jack?
Well, it's on record. Mid-table, I think 10th. I think, frankly, I've watched the Premier League in recent years, and there's some absolutely shocking teams the way in which they play football. Down there at the bottom of the Premier League, and Thomas Frank how tactically well he is in recent years in the Championship, but you can't. You just watched from tactical sense that Arsenal game. Yes, Arsenal win at the races, but the way Brentford made them play, especially in the midfield, if they can keep everyone fully fit and keep the Frank's tactics, I think, as I said, alluded to before, the Wolves game, that's tactically not.
Yeah.
It's not an easy game to go away to, and we've seen Wolves have given Liverpool a torrid time in recent years. Yes, Liverpool got results, but it's never been the easiest way. But for me, 10th, mate, and frankly, it's amazing watching the punditry from Sky and all the top journos. Really, they're doing it with Liverpool and even Leicester when Leicester won the league. They never. It's always big headlines. But as I said, if Brentford continue the way in which they have done in recent times, especially in the Premier League, and with all the Brentford fans as well, even if you're not getting the results against the big boys, you're not expected to get. But even better, as you mentioned there, mate, it's great if you can get the 3 points, massive positive. But you're cut above the rest in terms of the bottom, half of the Premier League, mate, for me.
Definitely. Just go in the comments here before I go to Nick on his opinion. Courtney says, hi guys, hope you're well. Obviously you said you never walk alone, Jack, and Katie in the chat as well. Hope you're all well. Obviously keep your comments coming. Any questions that you've got, either for me, Jack, or Nick, by all means, put them in the comments. We'll try and get through as many as we can. But Nick, obviously, where would you see Brentford as being an acceptable position to finish this season?
Acceptable, 17th. But look, we're all not punching above that, because that's a little bit big-headed. But genuinely, on what I've seen so far and what I know we can do, my personal feeling, I say I've called 10. I think probably 12th, a little bit more realistic. And people even 5 games in will look at me and laugh and say, Jesus Christ, you're this tin pot club that's come up from the Championship. You've got no money, no fans, no established players. Well, maybe we've got a squad full of internationals, though.
Yeah.
We had 3 of our Danes got to the semi-finals of the Euros. You've got Pontus Jansson. You've got Aja, who is just looking phenomenal already. Tony banging him in up top. Brian, as you've mentioned as well, he's back in his groove that when he first joined us. He had a bit of time out with COVID when that all started, and he wasn't quite the same player when he came back. But he's there now. We have got enough talent, and it is. So whether we can maintain it, whether we can pull it together, and whether we can mug off one of the real big boys is another question. But there's enough teams that you've got to think, whether it's a Championship or top of the Championship or lower end of the Prem, it's all quite similar in terms of quality and ability. I'd like to think we can pick up points against most of them. Certainly we did against Watford last season. Not so much Norwich, but Norwich are off to a little wobble. So they sold Buendia, which talk about statement of intent from the board. Well, where they see their direction or their needs. So
and like I say, with no disrespect to Brentford, but obviously these aren't the types of games where you're expected to pick up points.
We're not.
Yeah, It's more against, like you said, the Norwiches and the Watfords and the teams in and around you. But in a way, it's basically like a free hit for you guys. There's no pressure on you. The pressure's all on Liverpool. So make no mistake, it's not going to be any easy game for Liverpool going to your stadium on Saturday evening. I expect a hard-fought game. It's going to be a right battle. Maybe just a goal or two in it. But like I say, I don't expect it to be plain sailing where it's going to be a 4 or 5-0. I just don't see that coming. No. So I think, obviously, other than the 2 games against Liverpool, I do obviously hope Brentford do stay up, and I think they will. If I was to obviously do it again now and do me table predictions, I'd probably say 13 for 14 for me, for Brentford anyway. Is respectable for me anyway. I just want to move on, and the next thing I want to talk about is just the Nick, your manager, first of all, Thomas Frank. What do obviously yourself and the other fans think of him? Has he galvanised your club? What's your thoughts on him?
Thomas is magnificent. He's been part of the hierarchy because he came in when Dean Smith was in charge. He was there alongside him, and when Dean understandably followed his heart to Aston Villa, it was only really going to be Thomas that stepped in because that's the way the club works. And he's been immense. He is the enthusiasm, the passion, the humility, but the excitement. He's just like a big kid, and I mean that in the nicest sense. He just gets so involved, and as much with the supporters as with the players on the pitch. It's I mentioned the playoff semi-final before. That for me is the quintessential example. The last 2 minutes before the second leg kicked off and we're a goal down. And instead of delivering the mother of all pep talks, he just set off on a lap of the stadium and just like geeing up the fans just before the players walked out. And that's him, and that's what he does. And when the game ends, he'll do a lap with the players, whether you've won or lost, just, but properly, it's not just a polite whatever. He'll be in there with all of them, just getting involved. He loves it. And the fans love him. Again, like Sergi, he had a bit of a tough time last season, again, from a certain element, frank out. I'm like, why? We're third in the championship. It's just nuts. But, I think there's been a lot of humble pie eating in certain quarters. The vast majority of supporters have had his back all the way through this anyway. And now even more so. It's, he has proved his detractors wrong. He's proven to those that like him, thank you for your support, but it was never in doubt from his perspective. But he's just a genuinely approachable human being as well. He's a sort of man, and especially with Brentford being how it was, and at Griffin Park, where there's nowhere to hide, the streets around the ground, he'll come up to you and talk as opposed to you going up to him and, managers going in. It's just, it's just bonkers. And he's just fitted into the ethos of the club so magnificently. And it's almost, you're getting into that situation, and you'll know it with some of the names you've had in the past, and where you get a manager so inexorably linked with a certain club, and he's doing that now. He's becoming part of the furniture, but in the nicest sense. Not put him in the corner and forget about him. He is just integral to what we do and to who we are as a club, and just a bunch of the most exaggerated family I've ever had the pleasure of being part of. From Brentford being 3,000 or 4,000 diehards where everybody knew everybody. We've seen that grow and grow, and still everybody knows everybody because that's just the nature of football and playing at Griffin Park. But we're at Lionel Road now, where the stadium is going to be full pretty much every game, and still everybody knows everybody. The manager knows the players, know the fans, and vice versa. It's just the most bizarre place in the nicest sense of it bucks every trend of Premier League or big club football, where the manager and the players and the club top brass lock themselves away, travel in the coach, run into the ground. It's just the most relaxed environment. And look, you can't be stupid and just go party with the supporters, and we don't do that. But by the same virtue, somebody wants to stop and talk, people stop and talk. And it's almost become so commonplace that, oh, look, there's Ivan. And whatever. See, I'm going to the pub. It's more important. It is just one big family now, and Thomas has been key to that. It was already massive, don't get me wrong, but he's just going to push it to that next level of supporter, player involvement.
Yeah, no, good points. Really good points you make there. And Jack, I'll come to you as well. Obviously, I've watched Brentford a few times this season, and I've been really impressed. Obviously, there was a nice moment right at the end of the first game between Brentford and Arsenal when Thomas Frank went over to that kid as well, who obviously has got a terminal illness, I think. Went over to him, gave him a really big cuddle as well. It was just melting your mouth moment in it, and just stuff like that just makes him think that he's really is just normal and down to earth, which is nice to see. So, Jack, what's your thoughts on him? Do you think he's similar to Klopp?
Yeah, it's refreshing, mate. And there's not many characters in the game at the minute. I think as much as everyone outside of Liverpool probably dislike to admit it, but you've got to like Klopp's personality as well, and Thomas very similar in terms of, as Nick's alluded to, how he just probably, as Nick's alluded to, goes out after the game, speaks to the fans, and pre-COVID, obviously, he probably still done that anyway, but there's not many football charismatic managers left in the game. And I'm all for it when you just see it. And even if Brentford or Liverpool do lose games, you can just look at them and absolutely fuming. Or like they're just thinking 24/7. Obviously, Tuchel, he's very different. It's his way or the highway. Pep Guardiola, who's crazy, but he's a very intelligent manager. But yeah, I think Klopp and Frank are probably... not going to put Bielsa's a very good manager, but he's not in terms of the ilk of how hands-on both managers are. And the more personalities like that, the more positive for the game anyway, mate. But it's refreshing. Every single interview, like you see Klopp and Frank or similar managers of that ilk in terms of their personality. I'm all for it, mate. And I just wish there was a lot more managers within the game that had the bottle and the personality. Not a lot of these managers have got. Especially the personality with Brentford, like Klopp, it emulates on the pitch, like it reflects on the pitch and the team as a whole, and as a fan base as well, mate. But yeah, it's refreshing, mate, and I'm absolutely made of every single interview he does. Like Klopp, you never know what the fella's going to come out with.
Brilliant,
it's refreshing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's just something new I'm doing on the channel at the minute now, but obviously when we get a rival fan on, I just like to do a little quiz on Brentford. Well, obviously whoever it is, the team that we're playing. So I have got 10 questions for you, Nick. No pressure. See how you get on with obviously all questions related to Brentford. Are you ready to go?
Oh, you never warned me about this. This is
no. I just thought I'd just sneak that in. So hopefully
go on.
You should hopefully know them. So. Right, question 1. Which of the following players did not spend their youth years at Brentford Academy? Was it Chris Mepham, Alfie Mawson, David Raya, or Josh Clark?
Did not.
Oh,
that'd be David Raya.
Yeah. Certainly was.
I knew that one. I don't know how, but I had a feeling.
You had a feeling, eh? When were Brentford formed?
1889.
Yeah, 2 out of 2 so far. Which overseas club is affiliated to Brentford?
Now that depends. That's a very controversial question. I will go with the fact that our owner also has FC Midtjylland in Denmark, but
yes,
we're not affiliated to them.
All right, okay. Which player was voted Player of the Year 2018 to 2019?
Ooh, 2018 to 2019. Oh God. I'm just trying to think backwards. No, you got me. It could be. Go on.
No.
No.
No, it was Neil Maupay. So that's question 4. Question 5. Where did Brentford finish in the 2019-20 championship table? Where did they finish?
1920. We finished 3rd.
Certainly did. Getting through these. What is Brentford's mascot called?
We have 2. We have Busby and the phenomenally Buzzette, who you may see outside the ground.
Right.
The week on Saturday, because the mascots can't go on the pitch at the moment. So they're outside the ground these days, trying their stuff and doing their thing. So,
who was Brentford's all-time top scorer in all competitions?
All-time top scorer. Total goals.
Yeah.
Oh man. Don't put me on the spot like this. No, it's not Dean Holsworth. He had that one stonking season. No, we'll be here all day.
No. Jim Towers?
Yeah, of course he is.
Just to say evening as well to Tiago's father. He is one of the Red Sea podcast co-hosts as well. Give him a follow if you haven't already. And he's on Twitter, Tiago's father 89. So give him a follow. But you'll be able to see him on the Red Sea podcast as well. He does quite a bit as well. Main contributor towards the channel as well. Question number 8: which club did Brentford sign Brian Umbremo from?
Oh, crap, that was one of the French clubs, wasn't it? And I can't. Brian. He came in from
Montpellier,
I think. No, I don't know. Can't think.
Do you know, Jack?
Someone was saying Montpellier, but is it not?
No, it's not. It's not.
Bordeaux?
No.
Who was it? Go on.
Troyes.
Oh, Troyes. That's
right. Okay, so Brentford's best ever Football League win was a 9-0 win in 1963 against which team?
Oh, it's one of the defunct ones, isn't it? And I can't. It's.
Is it Evan?
No.
No, I can. Yeah, go on. You'll have to.
Wrexham.
Okay, they're not quite defunct, but
no. And just the last question. Just before that, Tiago's father said we are on TikTok as well, which we are. So you can follow us on TikTok as well. So head over to that as well. Type in the Red Sea podcast, and you can follow us on TikTok as well. Where in the UK was Ivan Toney born?
I need to brush up on my Wikipedia, that's for sure. I'll just say London.
No. Jack?
Luton? Down Luton way?
No.
No.
Give in?
Newcastle?
No. Tiago's father's actually got this spot on.
Northampton.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
Northampton.
That sounds. Yeah.
Northampton. Yeah. Be interesting to see. Did you just Google that, or did you actually know that answer? Because if you did, fair play. But no. How did you find that little quiz there, Nick? Was it all right?
No, it's terrible. I don't like being on the spot.
I hope you haven't got 10 questions for me, Steve.
No, I haven't this week, maybe next time, Jack. Maybe.
But we're on the spot. And then before 95, I'm knackered.
I have got one that you can quickly answer if you want to do.
That's right.
Right. So there's only one team in England or Scotland that hasn't got the word football in it. So it hasn't got an F, it hasn't got an O, a T, a B, A, or an L.
In England and Scotland, there's one team.
Yeah, England or Scotland.
I bet it's something so obvious, isn't it? Oh, Christ.
See if you can get that one, Tiago's father, as well. Nick, obviously, if you know as well, by all means. But I know this one's a bit on the spot, this one. But
what league are they in? Can you give me that?
No, because it would give it potentially give it away.
Yeah, I go with Blackpool. I know you got Blackpool Football Club. Yeah, no, I'm not. We're not. That's a hard one. That.
Yeah. Did you know, Nick?
No, I'm just trying to work through my vowels without an A or an O.
That's a good quiz question. I'll tell you that.
It is, yeah.
Mastermind.
Tiago's father's got it right again. Dundee.
Doug would have known that. I bet you Doug's probably screaming
Doug.
to tell you that.
No, saying that I did ask this question to Doug a week ago or so, and I don't think he got it. So.
Oh, I'm disappointed from Doug.
Yeah, I might be wrong, but I know Doug's knowledge is obviously up there. But just the final thing while we're on here as well, predictions. Jack, I'll come to you first of all. What prediction are you going for in this game?
3-1. Won't be an easy game, especially Tony, as we've alluded to in tonight's episodes. Liverpool have got to be switched on. I think we will concede. But Salah, since Ronaldo has come into the league, we love scoring goals, but I'd even take a 1-0. But I'll go with a 3-1, mate. Won't be an easy game.
Okay. Nick, obviously come to yourself. What do you think the score is going to be?
You're going to score goals for fun, but so are we. It's going to be Brentford by the odd goal in 7, 4-3.
4-3.
What a game that would be!
Wow.
Not good for go both sets of fans.
I'm feeling goals. I'm telling you. Hopefully, it's the odd goal in 7 and not 7 one way. But
yeah, I hope it's not 4-3 because I don't think I could take another 4-3.
Yeah.
Nice comfortable win would be nice, but I just can't see it. So just going into the chat here before I give my prediction. Good evening to Hector. Hope you're well. He's enjoying the show. Tiago's father saying smash the like button. Exactly. Obviously, anyone that is viewing it at the moment, please, before you leave, make sure you smash the like button. Tiago's father's gone for 2-0 Liverpool, and Hector's gone 4-0 to Liverpool. My prediction, I'm going to agree with what Tiago's father said. I think he's been listening to my podcast the other day, and I said 2-0. Just fun. It's going to be a tight game. I think there'll be a goal in each half, but I don't see us walking it any way, shape, or form. I think you're going to give us a very, very difficult game. And I don't. Well, I hope it's not a 4-3, Nick. I really do hope it's not 4-3 because I just can't take that. Nice clean sheet. We've only conceded one
anybody
goal.
Could, to be fair.
Yeah,
including us.
Obviously, for you, it would be an interesting game if it's 4-3, but. As Tiago's father said there, please obviously make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Nick, are you on YouTube? Do you do any sort of podcasts or anything like that? Can we find you on?
Gosh, I haven't got enough time.
No.
To be quite honest.
No problem.
Just enjoy going to the game, do a bit of writing the program, and have your little chat like this. Look, thank you very much. It's been fun.
Not a problem at all, mate. Not a problem. Where can our viewers find you? Maybe on Twitter, then, if you just let them know where to find you.
I'm at Nick Brusen.
No problem. And Jack, thanks for coming on again, mate. Appreciate it. Let the viewers know where we can find you, please, mate.
Pleasure as always, mate. Thank you for asking me to come on. It was great to speak to Nick as well. And Jack Mac LFC just on socials if you want to watch my content anyway. But yeah, as I said, that's how. Yeah, if it's a 4-0, it'll be a very entertaining game. Like you said. Both teams playing football the right way, like we said. Exactly. But all the best to Brentford and Nick and all the lads anyway. And cheers for having me on, mate.
No problem. I'll just go into the comments just before we close up. Chris is obviously you won't know Nick, but he is a valued contributor to the show as well. It always comes on in the comments. I admire Brentford, the way they recruit and play. Love watching them in the Championship. So a lot of people have said the same. They love the way that Brentford play. Chris has said 2-0, and he's also said, sorry, I'm late. We normally just close it up just saying what's coming on the Red Sea podcast this week. We've actually got our third shirt review. I don't know if you've seen it, Nick, the horrible yellow one. What do you think on that one? Because I mean, everyone said it's the McDonald's sort of kit and dishcloth and stuff like that.
I've not clocked that one yet, and I actually, one of the things I've done for if anyone's down at the game, so I've got 2 columns in the program, which is a bit of fun. One of which is about Liverpool kits over the years.
Yeah.
The good and the bad, or whatever. It's kind of a freehand. But, well, I wish I'd seen that. That sounds pretty horrific.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah,
it is bad, isn't it? Yeah, they're charging about 100 quid now, football clubs in general.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But do you write for the match day program then, Nick? Do you?
Yeah. So I've got a couple of columns. One which is, just kind of like a topical look back at what's gone on, as topical as you can be with a print deadline compared to the internet. It's just, I'm not going to say it's second fiddle, but you've got to be a bit more adaptable, a bit more flexible in terms of what you're doing. But it's still good fun. Seems to go down well. And then the other one is about our opponents of the day and their kit through the ages. So
you'll have to. Obviously, I don't know if it's too late now, but obviously mention us if you can. Red Sea podcast in there. Obviously, anyone who doesn't know us can obviously find us on Twitter. You can find me at StephenStubbs985. But if you just go on Twitter itself and type in the Red Sea podcast, we've also got the Red Sea Down Under with the guys in Australia as well. So we are doing pretty well. Only been going 4 or 5 months, and we're doing well with subscribers. But if you could mention us in the program, if you do.
Give you a plug somewhere?
Yeah, definitely. It would be much appreciated.
Oh, that sounds awful.
But yeah, stick with us because the shirt review is coming up at 9:30. Next week, Monday, we've got the Fab Four previewing the Porto game. And then there'll be another episode of the Rivals Point of View as well. So yeah, we're very, very busy on the channel, and we'll have Fab Four review on the Friday as well, I would have thought. So but yeah, Nick, once again, thanks for coming on. Jack, again, thanks for coming on. Really do appreciate it. And yeah, obviously, just until next time, I hope you all stay safe. And obviously, thanks very much for watching, guys.
Yeah, John.